It's Monday, February 12th. Chapo Trap House back again. As we always do, the end of the NFL season. It's time to wrap it up, put a big bow in it, break down last night's game. Let's just hop right into it with our panel of NFL experts, Amber Frost and Felix Biederman. Amber, I'm going to throw this one to you first. Was last night's game, did the Chiefs win it or did the 49ers lose it with all their blown opportunities?
Oh, the second one. That's my strongly held opinion.
Okay, Felix Biederman, I'm going to you here. Patrick Mahomes, who's the MVP, but did Chris Jones actually get snubbed? Was he the real MVP of the game?
I want to talk about Travis Kelce. I didn't hear him talk until like this week, and I had no idea. Like, I don't know if I can say the thing he is starts with a W. I think you all know what I mean. But like, I had no idea. I'd only seen pictures of him, and I was like, oh, this is like a Chris Hemsworth type guy. Like he's a kind of like, a soy workout guy. He would wear sort of like novelty T-shirts that cost $400.
Yeah,
like those like stupid big pants that you wear. And I was just like, okay, there's no way that he's gonna open up his mouth and he's gonna be like, damn. and he is like someone who you would see wearing and one basketball shorts, a white guy. And one basketball shorts and walking on the shoulder of the highway with a 2-gallon thing of Arizona iced tea. Is this the greatest period of social mobility for those guys ever?
They're back.
I
thought that they were extinct. It's good to know they're still out there keeping it real.
Yeah, it's the thing is there are none of them left who are like poor or middle class.
Yeah, it's trickled up.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And one basketball short guy is trickled up.
Yeah.
It's a sign of deep affluence now.
They're all like the richest people. They're all like at the top of their field. Like that TikTok comedian, he's the biggest comedian in the world. Matt Rife,
yeah.
And I like, again, it was another thing where I was like, okay, like, I think I can kind of guess what this guy's like. It's going to be like, anyone on dating apps? But no, you hear his special and he's like, damn, so who up in here trying to fuck? And it's like, what, he's talked like this the entire time?
Yeah.
What the hell?
For a while, Indian comedians. There were a lot of Indian comedians doing that. I figured it had sort of moved on.
Yeah.
But I'm glad he must have really enjoyed the halftime show.
Yeah. Who's trying to get a baby put up in them tonight?
Yeah. Matt Rife does like crowd work, and it's so weird. He's his audience is all women like ages 18 to 26,
including adult film star Lisa Ann, who got arrested at a recent Matt Rife his performance.
Why?
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She was getting rowdy. Was she? Oh wow! I wonder if she was at a fucking bachelorette party and she's one of those chicks.
I was in Nashville.
Yeah,
that is the capital of bachelorette parties.
We never found out why she got arrested.
I don't know, but speaking of Travis Kelce and to your point, Felix, the New York Times really threw him under the bus by doing like the beginning of Super Bowl week. They had an article, the beginning of Black History Month. The article was like, "What is the fade?" Travis Kelce's like awesome, cool new haircut that only he has.
Yeah.
They're like, he invented this haircut.
Yeah, a trendsetter like Bo Derek.
Do you think like that's like if we're gonna take the Taylor Swift Travis Kelce thing at face value and not say like, oh, this is a marketing project or this is my least favorite thing. This is a psyop.
It's a psyop. It's a psyop.
I found out about psyop. They're really scary.
Taylor Swift is psyoping you into liking her but she's trying to influence you to like her music.
Yeah, I just saw.
I'm not going to be fooled.
I just saw a psyop for Colgate toothpaste on a billboard.
Honestly,
it's called advertising.
Honestly, I kind of wondered if it wasn't a triangulation to get the halftime show. That was my original theory. But instead, they decided to go with, so are you exactly 34 years old?
Yeah.
We tailor-made the most perfect you are exactly 34 years old. Because it's just barely nostalgic for us. We're all like, This is junior high.
But do you think that, like, if we're like and take it on face value, and like they're in love. Do you think that like for Taylor Swift, she probably never met a guy like that in her life?
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was talking about being like an outcast, kind of sheltered in high school, which was that was the second wave of that when she was born in like 87.
Mm-hmm.
And so like
89.
when she's 89.
Yeah. There's an
Okay,
album
so
about
yeah,
it.
when she's in high
That's
school,
right.
when she's in high school, that's the perfect time to meet,
A guy from the wrong side of the tracks.
You meet
Yeah.
the guy that Nick talks about in a very early Come Town episode where he's just like, my IQ is 142. All UNC powder blue college basketball gear.
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
My IQ is 190.
she was too sheltered to talk to those guys, so she never it's like inoculation. It's
Yeah.
like getting chicken pox when you're 2.
Yeah.
So she'd never experienced that before. So it was like a 34, 35-year-old woman for the first time. She sees a white guy who's like, I'm finna call up my unk. and she's like, oh my God, what is this? I'm feeling things.
Yeah, maybe like all along, this was the kind of guy she needed. Like maybe this one will stick because like this is like a revelation for her, and she'll be like, I do want to go to the cookout. Like,
Amber, has Brock Purdy gotten over his reputation of being a game manager even in this loss, or is he more of a game executive now?
more of a gay executive.
All right.
Is Brock Purdy is he one of those NFL players who's like he's not that good, but he's like Christian? Some people like him.
You need those because otherwise, you got to balance it out against I've been rewatching.
Against all the say Satanist.
Yeah. Against all the ones who have had their brains bashed in, so they just punch women. I was rewatching King of the Hill, and he's talking to Bobby, and he's like, "Well, the Cowboys aren't perfect, and I still love them, and they have a gun and drug problem."
Okay. The other big from the Super Bowl halftime performance. Thoughts? Did we like Usher?
I was drunk and actually dancing. I was flashing back to my high school dances where even junior high where where there was a chaperone walking around saying "Leave room for Jesus." We all had discovered freaking.
Oh man, he's a great dancer. Obviously the closing number, and you know what I realized? Ludacris, come back to music. I mean,
Dude, that was the most exciting thing.
I mean, I always think back, was like, damn, Ludacris, he had a string of singles there in the aughts that were just all flawless.
Yeah.
All
The
super
party
fun,
I was
all super
at-
funny. It's just always party rocking.
The Super Bowl party I was at, there was just random. As soon as they saw him, they were just Luda. Every 34-year-old guy freaked out.
Ludacris is you unfortunately you can't really do rap like that nowadays.
No, it was fun.
Yeah, in 2017 it started being rap started being you needed to be a 17-year-old who had the gates of Auschwitz tattooed across his forehead.
And Ludacris has never, I bet, done a benzo in his life.
No way. He's way too energetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rap really got taken over by I saw a picture of Lil Xan. I haven't seen in a while. Have you seen the picture
Where his face is pressed up against his girlfriend?
Yeah. Those guys went away a little bit, the SoundCloud guys, but it's still there's still no one like Ludacris who's just having fun.
He's having fun out there. Although I must say, as soon as the game was over, I immediately thought about the Prince halftime performance.
Oh,
you remember that?
Yeah.
You remember how good that was?
And he made it rain during Purple Rain.
It was raining, and he did a medley in it that goes from Proud Mary into All Along the Watchtower into the Foo Fighters' Best of You.
Yeah,
the guy.
awesome.
I mean, Felix, you saw him live, right?
Yeah, I
you
did.
saw him at Paisley Park.
I saw him live a year or two before he died.
That's so
I'm very
cool.
very jealous, my friend. And I guess I'm out here in sunny Los Angeles. I'm in the Chapo studio right now. I'm in a great mood. The Chapo stew, courtesy of Chris Wade. And I just want to if you'll indulge me, the listeners, I just want to recommend. I've been watching them all morning, and if you want basically 16 minutes of unbridled joy for free, look up on YouTube. Look up the Prince live performance of "Dirty Mind" from the Controversy tour, and then the live performance of "It's Gonna Be a Beautiful Night" from Sign of the Times, and you will be you'll be matching my stellar mood today. It's just pure joy.
He really is just incredible, or was. I wasn't like before I went to that concert. I wasn't like against Prince. I just never listened. I never had
Prince
heard him.
neutral.
Now I support monarchies.
Yeah.
Now I'm a monarchist.
I just remember there was a break in like the pandemic in Brooklyn, and it was a beautiful spring day, and they always celebrate Prince's birthday. There's always a big block party on Prince's birthday, and I'm like, I think I cried. I hadn't seen human faces in a while too, but I was just like, okay, yeah, good. We very much needed this, so as not to like just start burning down buildings.
Yeah. And then, of course, like the last element of the big game that Bear is talking about, the commercials. The commercials, just a few that at the top of my head that really stuck out in my mind. The first one was the commercial for Jesus that advertised his affinity for washing feet. And it was like, go ahead, bitch, call some feet. I'll wash them. It was the Show Feeties Sweetie Jesus ad. And there was there's a great ad for Israel during the Super Bowl as they turned Rafa into a slaughterhouse. We'll talk about that in a second. Yeah. But I guess the Super Bowl commercial I kind of really liked was the Dunkin' commercial with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. That was funny.
It's always nice seeing them just be friends and hang out, you know?
Yeah.
Was the Israel commercial the one where like this like Jewish housewife is coming home and she sees someone wrote like, like a third grader's first attempt at anti-Semitic graffiti. It's like a swastika and it's like, Jews, get out of here.
That was the one.
Yeah, that was that.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Muslims rule.
That one was so weird to me because the guy, like, there's a very Gentile coded guy who's her neighbor who it's implied that he like washed it all, he cleaned it off and painted over it while she was gone. It's weird. That guy looked kind of like Mel Gibson. And it's like a very weird subliminal thing where it's like maybe Israel's message to the few anti-Semitic celebrities where it's like, listen, if you like get on board with this, all is forgiven.
Dude, the industry have completely forgiven. He just has too much charisma. They're like, but Apocalypto. Like they just completely.
Amber, I watched The Patriot on the flight out here, and I gotta say, great movie.
Star power, man.
It's a banger.
Beats everything, yeah.
There's just no one who has his type of presence in a movie either.
We don't have those anymore. Where are we gonna watch fucking Timothy Chalamet fucking do a cool one-liner as something explodes?
Yeah,
I mean, I will be watching Dune too. So
yeah, like I guess they would have it be like Ryan Reynolds would do that. Like don't watch whatever. I don't know what movies Mel Gibson makes now. I presume it's
Dragged Across Concrete is the last movie I saw.
I've heard that one's great.
One of the most upsetting movies I've seen.
Are you a Hacksaw Ridge fan?
Hacksaw Ridge is very good. I mean, he directed it. He's not in it. Yeah, it's I like Hacksaw Ridge too.
Yeah, there's not going to be. I think Ryan Reynolds is a good example. He's also the prime example of what I call chin guys. Like, there's really nothing memorable about his face, but he has an okay jaw. And like, there was a whole kind of slew of those in the aughts where they were like, "Is this going to work? You guys like this guy?"
Yeah, and he's been around for like ever. He's like 59 years old.
Yeah,
he's like he was in the movie Waiting. That came out in 2009. That movie is so old that a major plot of that movie is one of the protagonists wants to fuck a 17-year-old. That's how old it is. That was still okay.
Yeah.
And Ryan Reynolds is just he's been around so long, and because he's 59, you wish he had some like Mel Gibson gravitas.
No.
You wish he could be in a movie where he fucking pistol whips a guy or takes someone's eye out, but he can't. He can just do Free Guy.
Yeah. He can just like do a smug face and like borderline, break the fourth wall.
Yeah, no, that's it.
Ryan Reynolds, go back to Canada, bitch.
Oh, he's a Canadian? All right, deport him.
I guess like the real capstone to the Super Bowl and like Joe Biden's very good week, which we need to talk about, was the official White House Twitter account posting a Dark Brandon meme, sort of like being like, it's all going according to plan. And I think it's fair to say it was for the win. I think he broke the internet. But like doing that at the time when, like, as I mentioned earlier, during the Super Bowl, Israel started bombing like the safe zone that they've herded like about 1 million people into, producing some of the worst images I've seen since this shit began. Like
it's awful.
Unspeakable atrocity. And then Biden just doing the Dark Brandon meme while this shit is going on.
You gotta admit, though, it is a brilliant move to just be like, all the Gentiles will be occupied.
Doing that meme, like, and the crux of it is like he's playing 4D chess, and then the next day your State Department is like, well, we can't do anything. No one will listen to us. We're unable to do anything.
It was Joe Biden, like, it's like this sort of like grainy black and white image of Joe Biden grinning demonically with glowing red eyes, and he's like, yeah, it's all going according to plan. Like he rigged the Super Bowl for Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Like right wingers are sort of. By the way.
Wait, was this an accident? Was like some intern like
no.
This
was started as a joke.
Yeah,
like the people who did this at first. I'm talking about the very first people who did it, who created it. It wasn't a pro Biden thing. It was a joke because he was having like the worst approval ratings ever, and they thought it would be funny if they made like Fash Wave Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Right. Like if they made him seem like Hitler.
So do you think
we don't have to imagine what that's like anymore.
Do you think the team thought it was like a compliment?
Yes. That's literally what happened.
Glowing red eyes.
Yes.
Nothing says charisma like glowing red eyes.
But those people they think it's the coolest thing ever. And like I've noticed every time Biden like shits his pants or shows up to a press conference naked, they bust out Dark Brandon the next day, and they're like, everything's fine. He's not going to die soon.
It's like also like in what he was referencing, like the Super Bowl psyop conspiracy. I just saw before we got on, someone said, I never would have guessed 10 years ago that liberals would get the NFL and the national divorce. But I guess that's what's happening now because football is gay and Satan.
I said there were a lot of funny posts from right wingers that were,
watching the sports ball.
Yeah.
I'll be wearing a tuxedo and going to church.
That was literally one of those was like, liberals are eating goy slop. I love goy slop. Goy slop is so fun. Every once in a while, those guys come up with something that like they don't even know how funny it is.
Yeah.
Goy slop is pretty funny because it's like, well, that's how I would describe what they eat.
I know. And we do. I had some kind of mayonnaise-based salad while I was there.
It is a biological genetic thing that the sons of Europe, they love the sloppiest thing I've ever had, which is buffalo chicken dip. When I see that, I want to fucking vomit.
I think
hate
it's so buffalo sauce. I
Really?
despise
I love
buffalo
buffalo. I love
sauce.
buffalo sauce.
I love actually even more. Chris and I were talking about this even more than ranch, which is the most. How do you get a Hoosier girl to suck your dick? Dip it in ranch. That's a go around. I like blue cheese, which I think might even be more Gentile.
But I'm talking about the stuff that's made in a crock pot.
Yes.
Where it's like, it's like a cheese sauce with bits of chicken in it.
I'm going to make you tater tot hot dish.
That tater tot hot is fine.
I almost made buffalo chicken dip for Josh Androwski's party until he told me it was already spoken for.
But these guys, the post I saw though, where the guy was talking about goy slop, he said, they're eating goy slop and they're wearing another man's name on the back of their jersey. Meanwhile, we're praying and wearing dress clothes.
Yes.
And it's like, are you 12?
Yeah, they're like, I won't be watching the Super Bowl. I'll be playing dress up with my friends.
What do you think it is? Like, because they still have the huge military thing. There's still the weird Christian guys.
It's just because Travis Kelce got vaccinated and Taylor Swift is his girlfriend. That's basically it. And the NFL highlights the achievements of black people.
They should love that. She looks like if Ava Braun was like a praying mantis. She's like the whitest woman on earth.
I don't like. In 2019, just like you said, she started looking like a typist for the SS. someone who would go on a date with Goering. And
So I feel like you're
that's-
sprung as hell.
Yeah. Ever since she started looking like that, perfect.
Ilsa.
Yeah.
I want to take that because, like, obviously, like the massacre that happened during the Super Bowl. This is like, there's a lot of kayfabe going on here, but like this is, coming on the heels of a week in which like the U.S. State Department and their spokespeople have just basically said, yeah, I mean, if that was us, we wouldn't do that. Like, I'm just saying, like, we're not here to tell them what to do, but if that was us, I probably wouldn't do that.
They said yesterday during the same press conference where they said they're unable to make Israel do anything.
Yeah.
They said, well, obviously we're unhappy with the results.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like,
Well, who are you, Kyle Shanahan, talking about the fucking
Like
overtime?
they're like gentle parents.
yeah.
No, but I want to talk because, like, yeah, you said, like, every time something unspeakable happens, they try to dark Brandon. But then there's like a pattern here where, like, the worse it gets in Gaza, they keep like leaking stuff to the press about, like, behind the scenes, Joe Biden is actually quite upset about this. And I want to talk about this one. This is NBC News from this morning. It says Biden disparages Netanyahu in private, but hasn't significantly changed U.S. policy towards Israel and Gaza. It reads, President Joe Biden has been venting his frustration in recent private conversations, some of them with campaign donors, over his inability to persuade Israel to change its military tactics in the Gaza Strip. And he has named Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as his primary obstacle, according to 5 people directly familiar with his comments. Biden has said he's trying to get Israel to agree to a ceasefire, but Netanyahu is giving him hell and is impossible to deal with. And then it goes on to say, like, that he calls him, at least in 3 recent instances, Biden has called Netanyahu an asshole, according to 3 people directly familiar with his comments. It's like, did they think that this makes him look good, like impotently talking shit about some guy behind his back?
Yeah, Netanyahu straight up just openly says, we have to tell our friends no. Like, he's way more assertive about
He's like,
it.
Biden's calling Netanyahu a real jerk to people behind his back. It's just like, I'm just imagining him talking. He's talking about Netanyahu like the guy Jerry Lundegaard tries to sell True Coat to. He's like, you're a fucking liar, Mr. Netanyahu.
You lied to me, Mr. Lundgaard. You're a bald-faced liar.
They've been doing this for weeks now, and like they don't realize how fucking weak it makes them look. Like, if we're gonna take it, like, I don't believe them. I'm not taking them at face value that they're even trying anything. But if they were, and somehow with a nation that we're going to give $17 billion to, a nation that cannot fucking exist without the most help out of anyone. They need so much fucking help just to keep running. They admit it, that you can't get them to do anything.
I really kind of like, I thought at this point, they have at least some level of self-sustainability, for as small as they are.
No, like during Obama, one of their goals was to like become more self-reliant,
like a normal country.
Yeah,
Right.
to have it so that.
But why would you if mom doesn't make you move out of the basement?
Well, they tried and they failed, and they openly admit that they weren't able to do that.
Yeah,
and I mean, they need a lot of help. Not all of it is from America, of course.
Yeah.
They get help from the Five Eyes nations. They get a lot of help from Russia, which no one on any side likes to admit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, they are one of the most dependent nations on Earth.
Well, calling publicly for a ceasefire, I mean, like, it would make them look even more impotent because he would just be like, no.
Yeah.
Like, there's no... It's more embarrassing, the leaks or whatever, but like he's kind of just in a, like, they're not going to stop fucking giving them money.
Well, yeah, and then I saw this morning the State Department press conference with that guy Matt Miller, and they were asked, like, well, if the president's like unhappy with what's going on right here, like, has he used any leverage? And the Matt Miller said, we think the president's words matter. So, like, next week, if Israel kills another 2,000 children, he may drop the F-bomb.
Yeah,
he may break out the F word.
They're never going to do anything. Even like Netanyahu is like, yeah, we're not going to listen to this senile old man. Like, he does not care.
Like, the words they're talking about that matter was Biden during his press conference that was overshadowed because he called Sisi Mexican because he said Sisi was a foo. He said that Israel's response was over the top.
Over the top.
Wow. Watch out there, Edward Said.
Yeah, it was a bit much. It's a little on the nose.
It's a yikes from me. Okay, but like, now we got to talk about last week, the Joe Biden, the Joe Biden press conference, which like I wasn't aware it was even going on at the time, and then I like look at the timeline, it's blowing up. I had to stop watching Love on the Spectrum, a show I deeply love, because I was just like, I need to dive into this. Who let him do this? Who let him? They were like, okay, well, the special. I mean, I guess they were kind of forced to, because the special counsel's report basically said about Biden's own mishandled classified documents case, said we declined to prosecute because any jury would just find him a well-meaning but essentially forgetful and elderly old man.
Yeah,
and then
they kind
like,
of admitted it.
Then like they were like, well, time to show you who's elderly and forgetful. And he comes out there, and I mean, like the CC Mexico thing. I'm going to give him a pass on that. I think the thing that really set this off was the fact that he referred to Mitterrand as the president of Germany.
That was before.
That was before. But like going into this, and then he calls Sisi the president of Mexico, which is our good friend Ev. Shout out Agent Napoleon said it's kind of understandable because Egypt and Mexico, deserts, walls on their borders, and giant pyramids.
Giant pyramids.
Yellow filter when you're in them in a movie.
The grainy piss filter on when an American movie is trying to say that we're in either Egypt or Mexico. But he could not have looked worse at that press conference.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it. I saw a few clips and I was like, I'm going to
disaster.
Yeah, give
me some highlights.
He may as well have walked out naked.
Yeah.
Like that's like he looks fucking awful. They gave him another facelift.
I've seen pictures. He looks really weird.
Yeah, he looked better before the facelifts. I don't know why they keep doing this.
Well, he looked better before the insane teeth.
Yeah,
they are not dressing him up well.
Think about being him for a second. Think about being Biden. At 81 years old, you don't even know when your son died. And every day you're waking up with a new face.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like, do you think that's helping things?
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Yeah, that they say that, like, when you get... do you remember the show The Swan?
Yeah.
That's literally when society was like, okay, we need to rein this back. We've done some horrible, disgusting things. But apparently, like, when they weren't allowed to look at themselves, and then after the plastic surgery, and then they took it off and looked in the mirror, and everyone cried, and they kind of edited it to make it be like, oh, they're so happy that they're not fugly and thus useless bitches. But apparently, like after they talked to a few of them, they're like, I was freaking out. It was really, really, really upsetting. He must be having that like every other day at least, and then he forgets about it and looks for his slippers or whatever.
Yeah, no, it's got to be just jarring. But like there's no getting out of this, you know?
No.
Like the only move they have is to be like, well, like Trump's
He's
fucking
also
old
senile.
too, which is true. Like they're both like the same day or the day after Trump called Orban the leader of Turkey. There's no like affirmative defense.
Well, he's
of it.
having more senior moments too. I've noticed Trump.
Those
have
like
accelerated
they're
a little
both
bit.
in their fucking 80s.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Chris before he got on, and it's like, is it like, you know, does he have full blown senile dementia? Probably not there yet, but like his problem is that he's 84 fucking years old. You know, like you can only do so much. And as Chris, as you were saying, it's just like, regardless of what you think about it, like the job is to perform the office of the presidency. You have to like play the part, and he is failing at that because of one reason or another.
It's interesting comparing Trump to Biden because they're basically perfectly inverted, right? Like I think I'm not as bullish on like the Biden is like senile as other people. I think he's probably fine, but he cannot appear normal.
I'm buying right now.
It's also
whereas
Trump. It's a spectrum.
Yeah. Whereas Trump, I believe his brain is mush, but he is a fantastic performer. He can look commanding.
Yeah, you don't actually need to have it together to have charisma.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to your point, like when I saw this press conference, I was just thinking like it's impossible for me to imagine that they bring him into like they keep going with him to the election day. It's impossible for you to imagine, but also impossible for me to imagine that they do anything about this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just like it's just.
Well, look, here's the thing. In terms of performing competency and professionalism and knowing that there's an adult in charge, they can always rely on Kamala.
Well, I mean, have you noticed this week, like every time Joe Biden has a press conference or has a senior oopsie moment, everyone resurfaces the coconut tree clip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The coconut
Maybe
tree,
she's drawing
the
fire.
coconut
Maybe
tree
you're
was,
right.
was going off this week.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love
was going
that.
off. But you know, Chris,
I don't care if it makes me a basic bitch. I rewatched it like 3 times.
Yeah, it's great.
It's great. And honestly, like I used to say Kamala would do even worse than Biden, but
no,
it's
I don't
like,
believe that
no.
now.
I don't believe that anymore.
She rocks.
Think about a debate.
She thinks she's at brunch. She has talk about not knowing where you are.
Yeah. Think about like Biden doesn't know where he is in a scary way, but
Right.
Kamala doesn't know where she is in a fun way.
Like Little
Yeah.
Xan.
Yeah.
She's like Amelia Bedelia to me. Think about a debate.
Okay, I wanna
think
fo-
about
I
a
wanna-
debate where Trump is like he's one of those bad Trump performances where he spends the entire time talking about the 49th most important guy in the FBI.
Yeah.
I hate Lenny Cornhill. And Kamala is up there and she's saying things like, places are things we've all been to.
But I mean, speaking of performing the office of the presidency, Chris, once again, I have to nod my cap to you. The coconut tree speech, the coconut tree comments, if Obama had delivered the exact same words, but just in Obama speak, people would still be
Yeah.
talking about it as a transcendent moment in American
Really?
politics.
Yeah.
I was
It
really
sound like one
cracking
of those-
myself up, just going, let me be clear. You did
Yeah.
not fall out of a coconut tree. You are the product of your content.
It's exactly like one of those. I don't know if there were any of the Super Bowl, but those commercials that tend to run during the Super Bowl, where you hear like doon, 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 piano, and they just show a bunch of stock footage, and they're like, "We're moving forward."
yeah.
When ambition meets a dream, everyone is there. It's like one of those things.
The thing that's like driving me crazy, not just with like the Biden senility stuff, but just like maybe more pertinently, the fact that he is doing worse than anybody at this juncture in their presidency in the modern era. Like he is at Bush in 2007, 2008 territory.
Yeah.
It's astounding that like the fallback for the pro-Biden people, just for left liberals in general, is like, well, the media is unfair.
Yeah.
Joe Biden has been in politics since 1970. Shouldn't he know how to deal with the media at this point? Didn't you bring out the idea that this guy has done so much and maybe he's been on the wrong side of almost every major decision, but he's done so much.
He showed
that
up.
He knows how to deal with all of this. He doesn't know, neither he nor his advisors seem like they know how to do anything. Their response to anything in the media, and I'm sorry, like the media reporting that he called CC Mexican is not biased.
No, he did that. Yeah.
He did that. But like that they don't have any move besides like, it's treason to post Hunter's cock in 2020.
Felix, I mean, I'm thinking about that like in light of the news report that came out this week about how he sent some like deputy NSA guy to Michigan to talk to like handpicked Arab and Muslim community leaders. And the comments that he made is like, look, we feel that there's been an inaccurate perception cultivated that's totally inaccurate that we don't care about the loss of Palestinian life. And like, I'm here to show you that we do care and we do see them as people. But like similar to the Biden age thing is that it's like, in policy, it's like it's never the thing itself. It's always people's perceiving the thing. That's the problem. And then it's always like the media's fault for allowing people to perceive things that like are wildly sort of different than like what the official line is.
It reminds me of people who act like Bernie didn't really lose because like the party did something unprecedented. Well, like, I'm fucking sorry, but we knew that they would do things like that. And if we had a working plan to mitigate that, then
Or the horses, maybe. Yeah.
that you are supposed to be able to account for those things.
It is very, like, look, the only reason that we lost is because they beat us. It's like, that's what they're trying very hard. And they,
my favorite reaction to the Biden press conference though was like, some woman who was just like, you're making fun of Biden's memory. Tell me where your AirPods are. Like, tell me where your earbuds are right now. And I'm like, in their case, okay? Like, what do you want from me here, lady? And I'm not running for president either.
Yeah, the thing that drives me fucking nuts is he wasn't like drafted into this.
Yeah.
He chose to do this.
Yeah.
Like he's not doing all of us a fucking favor.
And I want to highlight one of these sort of like scramble to like sort of legitimize this is in the New York Times is an op-ed piece. I'm a neuroscientist. We're thinking about Biden's memory and age in the wrong way. So like you're thinking it's a problem, and that's wrong. And I just want to highlight one piece from this. It says here, Mr. Biden is the same age as Harrison Ford, Paul McCartney, and Martin Scorsese.
Have you seen Harrison Ford lately, by the way?
He's also a bit younger than Jane Fonda and a lot younger than Berkshire Hathaway CEO Warren Buffett. All these individuals are considered to be at the top of their professions, and yet I would not be surprised if they are more forgetful and absent-minded than when they were younger. In other words, an individual's age does not say anything definitive about their cognitive status or where it will head in the near future. To that, I gotta say, Martin Scorsese did Killers of the Flower Moon this year, and Joe Biden did Killers of Every Palestinian Child this year. So, I mean, look, what kind of comparison do you want to draw here? And once again, I'm not voting for Martin Scorsese to be president, although I wish I could.
Yeah. We'll do a write-in this year. It's also weird because it's like, well, I don't know. I also see him talking. And I saw the little narration that Scorsese did before Killers of the Flower Moon, and I'm like, he seems like he's got it together. Maybe he doesn't, but at the very least, I don't constantly see Martin Scorsese having senior moments.
Yeah, well, he was in a Super Bowl commercial, too. I forgot about that.
Yeah, his output is like, just signing off on every horrific crime against humanity done by Israel, or like trying to play 5D chess by, like, I don't know, trying to pass an immigration bill that just is everything that the Republican Party wants.
Yeah, like ending all asylum.
Yeah. I mean, I guess their response to that would be like, look at this one column on this graph about consumer sentiment. Okay.
Yeah, you got it. So, yeah, like, I mean, I just don't know where this is going. Like I said, it's impossible. It's insane to me that they would let this guy continue to run for president. Just get Kamala in there. If that's what it takes, you'd be better off with Kamala at this point. I don't know. I'd be like,
yeah,
but I'd be not surprised at all if it's November and he's still out there.
This is their best asset right now is Dobbs. It's abortion. And Biden, I don't even think this is a product of senility. I think it's more a product of like how fucking old he is and how he calculates political decisions. It's always 1995 for him. He's still going out there and saying, you know, I'm not for abortion on demand, which is like the dumb
on demand.
As opposed to what, a lottery system? Like it's so
and you don't enter yourself. You have to do. It's like Shirley Jackson.
But it's like that. It's so is just not meeting the moment.
He's running.
Like, we're so beyond that
from the single issue in which he has like a 50-point advantage over Trump and the Republican Party.
But at the same time, he's fucking showing up to like huge events that are like anniversary of Roe v. Wade. I remember the fucking PR statement for it. It's like celebrating Roe v. Wade. It's like, I don't think you get to celebrate it when you lost it on your watch.
Yeah.
The arguments are always bringing out, like, you know, the best thing they have is abortion, right? But the other stuff is like, you know, think about what Trump will do to the undocumented. Think about what he'll do at the border. You mean everything that Democrats tried to do like last week?
Yeah, last week they tried to just give the Republican Party the Stephen Miller immigration plan, and they were like, "What do you want from us? We can't. We did everything they wanted, and they still won't be play nice. What, you know? It's just like, then why should I fucking vote for you?
Yeah, even if the point of doing that was to show that Republicans are just obstructionists, who fucking cares? Shouldn't we know that by now? I would like to find out who that moved.
Yeah.
Who was like, I'm not voting for Biden. And then they saw that the Republicans just didn't vote for like the bad immigration bill. Oh my God, these guys don't want to get anything done. Who does this work on? Who is this for?
Ugh. All right. Well, moving on to the reading series for today. And Amber, I'm glad we have you on the show because the last time you were on, we talked about the Bill Ackman, Miri Oxman saga. Mm-hmm. And then he's sort of like, after the extent of her plagiarism and his, campaign to get Business Insider to reimburse him for the emotional damage on his wife, he sort of disappeared. I wasn't seeing any 10,000 word posts from him. But he's back in this New York Magazine profile titled Raging Bill. And I got to tell you, This guy he needs to be interviewed every week. The details in this article is incredible. So let's dive into this profile of Bill Ackman in New York Magazine. It begins, ever since he was a boy, Bill Ackman dreamed of being a businessman.
Like he wore little suits
like
to
Henry
school.
Hill. Well, here he says it. He sold ads for Let's Go travel guides from his dorm room as an undergrad at Harvard and co-captained the business school crew team, which had oars decorated with dollar signs. Let's face up to what Harvard Business School represents, Ackman wrote in the school newspaper after rowers were booed at the head of the Charles. We spend 90% of our own studies at HBS pursuing the maximization of the dollar. We're maximizing the dollar here. But even as a college student, Ackman was also thinking about how the university worked and the role it played in society. He majored in social studies and took a formative course on ethnicity and nationalism taught by Marty Peretz.
Ooh.
Marty Peretz, a well-known genocidal racist, Marty Peretz. So
I wonder what he saw in or perhaps inside a young Bill Ackman, knowing what we know about Marty Peretz and, should we say, the trades? The rough trades?
Gave my wife to Business Insider. Call that a rough trade. Marty Peretz. He also critiqued the idea that the university was primarily a place for the transfer of knowledge. The real purpose of a university in a capitalist society was to distribute privilege, Ackman wrote. The question who should go to college should perhaps more appropriately become who is going to manage society. His nephew recently enrolled at Harvard, as did his eldest daughter, which Ackman told me recently is where the trouble started. She became like an anti-capitalist, practically a Marxist, Ackman said in January, leaning across a large conference room table at the offices of his hedge fund, Pershing Square. We talk about capitalism and she would freak out at the table. His daughter was in the social studies department, just like her father, and rode crew too. But she had chosen to write her thesis on the concept of reification in Western Marxist thought. Having come to very different conclusions than her father had about how the world should work, Ackman said it felt as though she'd been indoctrinated into a cult. So, like, he's just like his daughter wasn't enough like him, even though she rode on the dollar crew team.
Yeah, and it's also like, okay, if you're Bill Ackman and your daughter, she's like 19 or 20 now, and she's, talking about unlimited genocide on the first world, just wait a few years.
Yeah, give it a minute.
You'll be fine.
This is her rebellious phase. Yeah. Don't worry, she'll course correct. She went to college.
I think that's always so weird to me about like any guy like this, anyone who has billions of dollars, when their like 19-year-old son or daughter is like, I'm a freaking epic communist, that they think it's the end of the world. Like they think that they're not just going to like drop it in 2 years.
Yeah, but I think for a guy like this, it's like he needs to have control over everything. So like
Right.
even a minor deviation from having a daughter that's exactly like him in every respect is like an affront to him personally, and now a national problem that needs to be addressed by like the president of Harvard on down.
And let's be honest, it's probably a bigger deal because it's a daughter.
Yeah. It says, while Ackman's campaign had suddenly made him a boogeyman of the left, he has long been a Democrat, other than the time he registered as a Republican to vote in a primary for Mike Bloomberg. The Pershing Square, the Pershing Square lobby has a Ukrainian flag on the wall, and bathrooms still have a reminder to sing "Happy Birthday" to yourself when washing your hands.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
really
like, they also have a sign that says, don't pick your nose.
That really does not make me feel confident about the idea of investing with them.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
All traders must wash their hands before returning to the money machine.
Yeah.
That's why money's so filthy.
Yeah. So it says here, so going on, it says, while we spoke, an assistant carried a pink folder into the conference room that was stuffed with handwritten letters from supporters. One was a certificate of commemoration made out to Bill Ackman for cleaning out the swamp. He's sharing like fan letters, the fake certificates for cleaning out the swamp at Harvard.
There is, I used to think the most pathetic thing were those Dutch guys who would like take pictures of Elon Musk with like his 14th kid and be like, I imagine right now Elon is saying moments like this are like jeweled treasures in the sands of our lives. And like, that's weird, but that's just that's like how Europeans are. But I used to think that was like the most pathetic thing you could do. I actually think it's more pathetic to do this for Bill Ackman.
Yeah.
Because like Elon Musk, he, by hook or by crook, he was briefly worth like $300 billion.
Yeah.
It was stupid. Like, Tesla should not be worth that much. But Bill Ackman is just a normal billionaire who lost a fight with Herbalife.
Yeah,
Well,
and
we're
I
going to
think
get to that.
I think people like to fantasize. They're like, if I was a type of billionaire, I would be an Elon Musk style billionaire. No one wants to like sort of aspiration. Or apparently, some people do. They're like, one day I'm going to be like Bill Ackman.
There's some really gross posts out there where people are like drawing Bill Ackman or like making an AI. Bill Ackman is like a Roman legionnaire.
Okay. All right, this is the next paragraph. Ackman didn't see himself in Patrick Bateman, but he had spent a few days in January posting quotes from Gladiator and retweeting his newly formed legion of reply guys as they posted AI-generated images of Ackman as a Roman general. Welcome to the posse, Ackman wrote to one. Let's roll. The movie, which Ackman told me is one of his favorites, certainly has themes he is eager to identify with. Betrayal by the elites, the importance of winning the crowd, the perils of attacking a man's family. Ackman took particular inspiration from Gladiator's opening scene, which he posted on X. You have the barbarians on the other side, and they chop someone's head off, and then the Romans go and kill the barbarians, Ackman said. I mean, Business Insider, they're the barbarians.
Joey, do you like movies about gladiators?
Why did you talk? What the fuck are you talking? Do you think your life is like Gladiator? They killed his entire family.
Yeah.
The Business Insider had an article where it was like, your wife loves Wikipedia. And he's like, this wife is good as dead. My kids are dead. They're as good as done.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the wife has not noticed at all.
Yeah. I would like to find out what Neri's favorite movie is. I'm more interested in that.
So moving on here. That night, Ackman and Oxman hosted a dinner at their Upper West Side apartment, a gathering of world minds.
Oh, my. Welcome to Mindheads.
World Minds, an invitation-only community owned by the media conglomerate Axel Springer that is a kind of rotating series of Davos-late dinner parties, the kind of places where VIPs discuss the world's problems over cocktails. Oxman is a member of the group's advisory board. The featured guests were two members of the World Minds Network, David Petraeus, former CIA director and current partner at the private equity firm KKR, and Avi Loeb, an Israeli astrophysicist at Harvard. The war in Gaza had been raging for a month, and Petraeus gave a dispiriting talk about the broader geopolitical fallout. Later in the evening, in a call for dialogue among different tribes, Paolo Antonelli, a curator at MoMA, offered a thought. Love the aliens, he said. Loeb took the idea and suggested looking for hope from above. My personal belief is that the Messiah will arrive, not necessarily from Brooklyn, as some Orthodox Jews believe, but rather from outer space, Loeb told the group. The extraterrestrial Messiah's message, he said, would be to stop fighting over territory here because there is much more real estate available throughout the universe.
This is
We're
legitimately
going to settle. The space Messiah is going to come and be like, stop fighting over Palestine. We'll give you a new Gaza Strip on the moon.
Yeah, this is absolute. Ma Non Sheila is in this fucking group.
Can someone inspect that apartment for carbon monoxide leak? Like, this is what a science guy is saying? That we're going to solve all our problems by making Warhammer real.
Yeah, it's a Deus Ex Machina. We just gotta look to the skies.
Yeah, we're Israel, who can't even make like a movie anyone wants to see. They are going to colonize an asteroid and like live there. Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love it if they tried. I would love it if every Israeli got on a spaceship and was like, we're going to live on that asteroid.
Back on Earth, Loeb listened while Ackman said he was hopeful that Gay would respond to his letter. Claudine Gay of Harvard. I'm a theoretical physicist, so I get paid to make predictions, I said to him. I don't think you will, Loeb told me. The last thing Harvard would do is admit their mistakes. I just love Ackman and the Space Messiah. Ground control to Major Bill. Check your plagiarism and may your wife's love be with you. All right. Here's the part that people were sharing all today. This is a peek inside the beautiful billionaire mind. Ackman believes that our lives are often fated from birth. I have a view that people become their names, he told me. Like, I've met people named Hamburger that own McDonald's franchises.
Kevin Gates Bar.
I I believe strongly. I believe strongly in nominative determinism.
nominative determinism.
We're on board about that.
So he says, we'd been talking for nearly an hour and a half when Ackman asked me what not my name was, hoping to offer a diagnosis. After he seemed momentarily stumped by my surname, I offered him my first name, which he misheard as Reed. Reed. Right, he said, before turning back to himself. So my name is Ackman. It's like activist man. All right, let's do it.
No,
Let's do some nominative determinism here.
It's the fucking Kathy Guyswhite, but a guy. Like, that's very obvious what you are.
All right, let's do some nominative determinism. Amber Frost?
I just sexy porn star lady. Like, or an X-Man. Like, I've got an awesome name. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mama did good.
Yeah. If you look Beaterman,
You're drawing beats.
You
You draw a beat on him.
draw a beat on a man.
We stole our name from some Gentiles, and we did a great job. It was aspirational when we stole it.
Yeah.
Because
You're like, I want that goy slop.
yeah, yeah. This name means petit bourgeois.
That's
But
awesome.
the first Biedermans in America, or at least one of them, was a heroin dealer. He was not petit bourgeois. But look at us now. It worked.
Will,
Menaker. So I have like a will to give men aches.
love that.
Give them tummy aches.
Chris Wade, he's like Jesus wading into the water of podcasters.
Yeah, I wade into the content.
To the river of
Yeah.
Jordan.
Yes.
To the river of Jordan. Moving on here, it says, in 2000, okay, here we go. In 2012, Ackman waged his most infamous activist battle, a merciless campaign against Herbalife, a multi-level marketing company that hawks dietary supplements. Ackman argued that the company was a pyramid scheme and that federal regulators would shut it down. This is the highest conviction I've ever had about any investment I've ever made, Ackman said at the time. He had taken a sizable short position and promised that it was going to the end of the earth to prove himself right. In certain respects, Ackman was vindicated. Regulators made Herbalife pay a $200 million settlement and alter its business model, but he had overlooked an inherent risk that came with his personality, how much some people dislike him. His cockiness had become legendary in an industry that has never lacked for self-assurance, and he had placed his Herbalife short. After he'd placed his Herbalife short, Carl Icahn, another hedge fund billionaire, took the opposite side of the bet, plowing money into the company's stock, seemingly out of spite. Ackman had previously spent 7 years suing Icahn over a few $1 million, petty cash for two titans. At one point, Ackman was making a live appearance on CNBC. Icahn called into the show. I really sort of had it with this guy, Icahn said. I had dinner with him, and I got to tell you, I couldn't figure out if he was the most sanctimonious guy I ever met in my life or the most arrogant. Listen to this. This is him sitting here listening to him call in a show that he wasn't scheduled to be on. Ackman remained calm as Icahn attacked. I went to a tough school in Queens, and they used to beat up little Jewish boys, Icahn said. He's like one of those little Jewish boys crying that the world is taking advantage of him.
His name is so close to Eichmann.
Ackman continued his attack on Herbalife, but he couldn't bring the company down. When he finally bailed on the bet in 2018, he had lost $1 billion.
Carl Icahn, for people who don't know, he's like pretty old now. He's like in his 90s. But in the 80s, if you were, like selling a woman, you were probably selling it to Carl Icahn. He was like all throughout the 80s, he was like he was doing Gordon Gekko shit. He would buy a company that exclusively employed kindly old men and kill all of them and take their pen. He's awesome. He's just a psychopath. And even as an 86-year-old, he owned Bill Ackman.
Yeah.
I gotta say, the lawsuit.
How's his
thing,
memory?
What was it, $1 million or $2 million?
Yeah, a couple million dollars.
They're like, yeah, that's small potatoes. With these, and it's like, that is small potato. If you've got that, what a petty little bitch
for $1 million.
What a petty little bitch. You know
Yeah.
what? I gotta say, little whiny Jewish boys just scraping for coins. I'm sorry. He has a point.
That it is fun. That is really funny. That
You didn't give me enough change.
in Icahnn's retelling of it, the kids getting bullied for being Jewish, were pussies. They deserved it. And Icahn is Jewish. He is he's also Jewish. But I don't know.
Anastasia, Carl Icahn. Those were some tough Jews.
You can't hate anything more
Murder
than you
Incorporated.
hate the Mirror.
But it says here,
He's awesome. He fucking clears Bill Smokes crack, man.
Wait, listen to this. Ackman still bristles at mention of the Herbalife exchange. I wasn't whiny and no one beat me up. He said.
I'm not crying.
Going on to his wife's defense, it says here when Gay finally resigned on January 2nd, Ackman was in the Dominican Republic with Oxman and their daughter. It was the penultimate night of his vacation, but Ackman couldn't resist taking a victory lap and spent 9 hours from 6 p.m. to 3 a.m. writing his 4,000-word reaction in Microsoft Word and then pasting it into a tweet. Ackman said being married to Oxman, who is Israeli, gave him a visceral connectivity to the October 7th attack, and that she had been his quiet partner throughout the fall. When Ackman tweeted about his visit to Cambridge, Oxman privately attended a lunch at the same month hosted by the MIT Israel Alliance. It was partially group therapy and partially just that stressed out students need free food, Talia Khan, the group's president, told me, adding that many MIT students knew Ackman as that guy who's Neri's husband. Oxman had largely shied away from making public statements. She kept debating whether she wanted to post, Ackman said. What was she going to post? It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. I said, sweetheart, you know what? Let me be the tip of the spear on this thing. Ackman didn't see anything wrong with jumping to his wife's defense after having weaponized the allegations of plagiarism against Gay. I don't think I was being hypocritical at all, he said. Ackman did run his own Harvard thesis through a plagiarism detector and was relieved when it came back clean. I was shivering in my boots, Ackman told me. The irony would have been something. Well, it's like, yeah, but did you run your wife's thesis through the same AI plagiarism detector?
Well, it's hard.
That's what's at issue here.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to run two Christmas ornaments glued together through a plagiarism detector. As far as I know, that's like what her work is.
So it says here, we are the number one trending with 38,600 posts, and the Princess of Wales is at number 2 at 2,998. Ackman wrote to Blodgett, like the head of Business Insider. In a post on X, Ackman said that rectifying the situation would require only 7 simple steps, including Axel Springer taking action to depublish the stories about Oxman and then having its CEO, Matthias Dopfner, fly from Germany to New York immediately to sit down with Henry Kravis of KKR and adopt a settlement fund to compensate all those who have been victimized by Business Insider.
Why is Henry Kravis involved? Henry Kravis, this is another guy from the 70s and 80s. If you've seen the movie Barbarians at the Gate, with
the book.
It's a book and a movie.
It's a movie too?
Yeah, James Gardner plays Ross something, the CEO of Nabisco at the time. It is a great book. It's about the privatization of Nabisco. Not privatization in the government sense, but like taking it private. But Henry Kravis he's not as cool as Carl Icahn, but he did the same type of thing, except he was a private equity guy.
He was just like looting the Keebler elves treehouse.
He slit the Keebler elves' throats.
Snap, Crackle, and Pop were shot into a ditch following our hostile takeover.
And he's also like a 100-year-old man. So like, why is he involved in this?
I don't know.
Like, does he elaborate on this?
So it says here. They have to fly to New York to adopt a settlement fund and compensate all those who have been victimized by Business Insider. So it's like him and
So
Dave
amazing.
Portnoy, basically.
Yeah.
So it says here, with the proceeds of any settlement for Oxman going to her company, so she can accelerate the incredible work she does.
How much money does she need to like make dioramas?
Isn't that like also there has to be some legal gray area there where like a lawsuit just for investment money.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of suspect. I mean, I'm sure you can use the money for whatever you want, roll around in a big bet on it, but it really doesn't make your case look legitimate.
No.
Also, nobody can fucking sue. Like, people don't sue Page Six. I can't stress this enough. Like, Business Insider just publishes the most like just bitchy little fucking stories. It's just like employees being like, Elon Musk picks his nose.
Crucially, his wife did plagiarize large parts of her thesis.
It is also the truth. Yeah.
There's no case here at all. But it's also like Axel Springer is like awful for a billion reasons. They basically make all their employees sign a loyalty pledge to Israel. But in their like defense here, like how could they keep going as like a normal news company if they come out and like
Unpublished
are
things?
part of an extortion ring that benefits a woman who still has to staple her mittens to her coat?
Well, it's also just like that's not even how it works. They would, post an addendum or whatever. It was like, that would be like previously in this article, it says that, Bill Ackman is a bad guy. He's actually very cool and chill.
Right.
It would be like a retraction corrective or something. You wouldn't just you can't wipe it clean.
Right. Well, what would their statement even be? Because like she did plagiarize. Would it just be like Bill's defense of her, which is that she's an introvert? Like, hey, we made Neri nervous. Sorry. Here's $50 million to your stupid wife. That Henry Kravis is going to manage for some stupid reason?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Stupid wives need the most attention.
Like, does Henry Kravis even know that he's involved in this?
It says, after a few days went by with no end to the tweeting in sight, an Axel Springer spokesperson told a reporter at Puck that most people underestimated the way Bill Ackman is completely losing it. So it says, Ackman kept posting. He claimed the story had been planted, possibly by someone at MIT, and accused Business Insider editor of being a known anti-Zionist with an agenda. The gladiator memes started rolling out. Ackman tried to exonerate Oxman by pointing out that the university's plagiarism policy didn't explicitly object to taking content from Wikipedia and asking if anyone besides his wife... Asking if anyone besides his wife had ever been accused of plagiarizing definitions from Wikipedia before. Well, no, probably because no one's been fucking stupid enough to do that in a graduate thesis.
They also just didn't have those programs. Like I think those came around in the 2000s where you could run over something and do like searches things. I'm sure AI will speed that up, and we'll find out about like 75% of academics are just completely full of shit.
His argument is so bad because it's like, well, they don't specifically single out Wikipedia as a thing that you can't plagiarize from. And it's like,
I think that's
their
the
articles,
definition of plagiarism.
That's literally, it's like you're plagiarizing something you're plagiarizing footnotes from another source.
Right. But it's also like, there's no plagiarism guideline on earth that just like lists everything,
There's
every possible book. like this is an Airbud. Well, there's nothing in that. You didn't write this specific book down in your plagiarism policy, so I can just copy and paste the entire thing.
Yeah. Also, it is very funny thinking of her being like, I think I found a loophole.
So it says here, Ackman estimated that he had spent 110 hours or so battling the case on his wife's behalf and called one of several long posts he wrote in an attempt to exonerate Oxman the best and most important thing I have ever written, tweeting that, quote, I am an extremely fast writer and I am powered by a profound love that is infinite.
It's just so that you're on speed. That's like, you do those long threads. Everyone can tell. Everyone can tell by reading you that you're just either snorting coke or just like doing Adderall like Pez.
Whenever I go on Bill Ackman's timeline, and like they're not, he gets the premium Twitter, so he can write a post that's like, 50,000 words long. My computer, I have a pretty good computer. It runs even things that aren't optimized that well pretty smoothly. The only time my computer gets hot is when I load a Bill Ackman post. It's too much.
This says, Oxman, for her part, wasn't sure what to make of her husband's chivalrous tweeting, which had drawn even more attention to the allegations. Through Ackman's spokesperson, she declined to comment for this story. Ackman wrote on X that the pressure from the Business Insider stories could have literally killed her, and that he had seen
what?
He said the pressure from the Business Insider stories could have literally killed her, and that he had seen others commit suicide in similar circumstances. She was in a pretty dark place, Ackman told me, adding that he tried to nudge her forward toward finding a silver lining. I'm like, look, you didn't do anything wrong. We'll get this fixed. And actually, the more negative press, the better. Once we turn this around, it'll be good for your company. once we turn this around, like when you once again, she plagiarized and is probably like knows it and is sort of like, let's just not talk about it. Because when
he's
you've done
being
something
way worse.
wrong and it becomes a big thing on Twitter, the best thing to do is just disappear for a week or two and then just come back and be like, yo, new phone, what's up?
Damn, I was on a crazy vacation.
Also, no one really cares about this. I can't drive this home. This is like when you date a guy who just gets in fights on your behalf because someone like brushed you and you're just like, I got it. This is way too embarrassing. Nobody cares. Every fucking academic fucking plagiarism happens all the time. It's like an open secret.
How was Neri? I would love to see her suicide attempts because she's like sticking her head in a microwave and like not knowing why it isn't turning on.
Creating some elaborate Rube Goldberg device that drops a piano on her.
Just having Marina Abramovic just like stab her through the chest.
Shoot her with arrows.
It would be like when a kid gets really mad. I'm going to hold my breath until I die.
So it goes here. He wasn't sure that the pitch had landed. There were times where she said, please don't tweet anymore. But he defended himself by pointing to memes online suggesting that he had become a hero to wives everywhere.
He is a hero to the biggest loot. Like, I am not kidding when I say the people who are dick riding Bill Ackman, all of their dads have killed themselves.
Right.
Not before, but like now.
Probably because of plagiarism scandals. Business Insider.
I have seen some of the most embarrassing shit I have ever seen. I have seen like 40-year-old men who are like, Bill Ackman is like a gladiator mixed with a professor.
Yeah.
So
he's the wife defender.
he says, a hero to wives everywhere.
That's amazing.
Imagine like your husband has embarrassed you this badly. And then like his defense is, there's a meme going around that apparently I'm causing a lot of marriages to have trouble. Like there's this one where a husband emails his wife, honey, I did the dishes. And she's like, big fucking deal. Did you see what Ackman's doing for his wife? Like humiliating her on a national stage?
Yeah,
I also like I don't know who this Lady Macbeth, but this person doesn't exist.
like clearly she never planned for this to get this big. She would much rather just like, disappear for a week. But he has like now this is all anyone thinks about when they think about her.
She should be microdosing in Ojai. This wouldn't have bothered her the first time around because again, no one cares.
Yeah. No, he ruined her life.
Because like I mean like like I said I hadn't seen anything from Ackman and like Neri, it's fine. She can plagiarize the yarn, or she can build her geodesic
Everyone
domes.
does it. Yeah.
Was it Chris? You were saying you saw some Netflix thing with her?
Yeah,
She was like,
I watched her episode of Abstract, which is actually a pretty good series about like design in various professions. And she runs a lab that's like a material science lab that actually does some like cool stuff. But all of her things, basically, her job is to be the placeholder at the top of a thing, the type of person that runs this type of lab. And so all the interviews with her are just like looking lovingly at glass, or her students coming up to her and being like, look, I made this. And her being like, very good. That is sure is an interesting material. But the one thing that I do remember is that she made a giant installation that's basically like a giant buckyball, like a giant geodesic dome that she got silkworms to cover in silk. That's the kind of thing that she does.
That's
kind
fun.
of cool. That's kind of cool.
Fun,
I'm
yeah.
fuck with that.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but it's also like you can only do that if your husband has like $20 billion.
Yeah.
Like that's like something that Genghis Khan's wife would do.
That's like 30. That's like the highest level of just like moms that own boutiques in Silver Lake.
Yeah.
Like they're just bored and like their husbands just buy them make work shops where they sell candles.
Yeah, that's what all mafia front businesses got replaced by.
So just to close out the article here, he says, he said strangers have continually come up to praise him for his work in the Dominican Republic, at an Orthodox wedding in New Rochelle, at hotels where people leave thank you notes with the concierge. I can't walk around New York City or anywhere without people coming up to me, he said. I was in a restaurant 2 weeks ago. The whole restaurant gave me a standing ovation. I asked where the restaurant was. Ackman smiled. The incredibly diverse community called the Hamptons, he said.
Oh my God. I like the idea. I know like either lying or it's just like, other idiots who are on vacation.
He's
but I like the
lying,
idea
yeah.
that like Dominicans like him. Like for some reason, they just think he's awesome.
They roll by his house every day, like blasting reggaeton out of their cars with the Dominican flags on the fucking coming out of the window.
He's been invited to Domino's.
He should start like he should start wearing like those like really tight capri pants that really Jack Dominican guys wear. Yeah,
like ultra tight polo shirt and then like the tightest like capri jeans you've ever seen.
Yeah,
just walking around with like a huge bowl of
artificially distressed. Yeah,
just a huge bowl of mofongo.
So yeah, that's once again, like I had already forgotten about Bill Ackman until this beautiful, beautiful profile.
God, he is ruining her life. I hope she divorces him and like sues him for so much for pain and suffering. And then she just make globes all day.
Yeah. Well, Warren Buffett will be managing the Bill Ackman settlement fund for all the wives damaged by Bill Ackman's tweeting.
It's so I can't get the Henry Kravis thing out of my mind. I know it's like not funny to anyone else, but it's so
you're
weird.
doing a Trump here right now.
It just no,
you're like
just
his wife is wonderful, but
it's so weird to me because like again, like Henry Kravis is 100 fucking years old. He doesn't know about this.
What is he like managing something or like what's
the
he's
Oxford settlement fund?
Like when Axel Springer, in his mind, Axel Springer is going to like give her $100 million.
Right, but there's no settlement. So what's he doing?
Nothing.
There's no money there yet. This is just a placeholder thing. They're like, when I get this money, man, you're gonna be in charge of it.
Yeah, and why would they need like a private equity guy to like sign off on checks? Like presumably like Neri Oxman, we've made fun of her, but presumably if she won a legal settlement, she wouldn't like buy a Ferrari and then scratch hers.
Yeah.
Like I would assume she'd at least have some idea what to do with it.
Awesome if she would be like an NFL player from the 70s.
Yeah.
Just like fucking.
Yeah, she gets a fish tank that spells out her name.
She buys the MC Hammer mansion and just does the exact same things. Give all of her cousins jobs.
Chris, are we out on time?
We're at like 110, 112.
Okay, what's all right.
Cool beans.
Well, cool. So yeah, I guess that wraps it up for today's show. Good to be here in person out in California, and I guess I'll just use the end of the show to give a little Matt update because obviously, I've been seeing Matt and Amber over the last couple days, and I just would like to share that Matt's doing great. He was cracking me up the other day, and perhaps more importantly than anything, his daughter is unbelievably cute. She is adorable.
Yeah,
she's got like the biggest, most pinchable cheeks, where you just when you see like a baby's face and you just want to. Just squeeze it.
Yeah, the violet.
Yeah, she is adorable, and she's also doing wonderful. So, just passing along some good news from the Matt front to everyone.
An Axis baby, as Matt has termed her.